everybody, this is Connie with Connie's Crafty Corner. I'm on here sneaking a quick minute to make a video because Mom's actually taking a nap right now. But she got here safe and sound. She's doing fine. She's ate like a man for the past 30 minutes and now she's passed out. So she's going to take her a little nap. But I just wanted to get on here and say something that is really difficult for me to talk about, and I'm not going to give a lot of details, but I just feel like I need to explain something because I had someone comment something yesterday that it wasn't hateful or anything, by no means, but I am so sensitive about my mom that I think I answered inappropriately, and I did go change my answer this morning, and I feel so bad about how I answered the comment that I just feel like I need to do some explaining. So I hope you know who you are. You don't have, I'm not going to say who you are, but I hope you know who you are. And I hope you know that this comes from my heart, that if that reply came off hateful, it's not anything because of what you said. It has to do with me. But the reason that, my mom's not living with me anymore, she lived with me for about 6 months. And we ended up having to move, and the bottom line is if my home was accessible to her, she would be here. But I live 2.5 hours away from any family, and I am the only caregiver. My husband works full-time. He leaves the house at 6 and doesn't get home to after 6 every day, and has a very high-stress job. Now, when my mom lived with me when we lived in Colorado, he was accessible as much as he possibly could, and he had a very gracious heart, and he loves my mama, and it was wonderful. I mean, they have a wonderful relationship. But my mental health suffered tremendously when I was in Colorado with just me being the sole caregiver of my mom. And when we moved from Colorado here and I got the break, I realized how much I had suffered. And I don't know if any of you's ever been a caregiver before, but when you are and you have it 24/7, 7 days a week with literally no break, because you don't have any family, and I didn't want to ask, I had no friends. I mean, because of the situation, I really had nobody. Now, I love my mama, and I will do anything in the world for her, but I have to understand I have limitations, and I have my own mental health that I have to take care of. Now, she's actually living with my 2 sisters. It's not the ideal situation, but you got to understand that that's the chaotic life my mom's had for the past 20 years. I've got a very codependent mom, who has been very codependent to one of my sisters, and extremely codependent to another. And the whole time she's been here, all she's done is ask about the one that's the squeaky wheel. Let's put it that way. She feels a need and a desire to be close to her because she worries about her because she's got a lot of issues. And as a mom, even with her Alzheimer's, she still has that inside of her. But the guilt that I feel from not having my mom live with me absolutely eats me alive, and I'm a little defensive if I ever get questioned in any way why I don't have her. And it's not because I'm angry at the person that asked, it's that I get angry at myself because I feel like I've let her down. I had a very chaotic upbringing. I'm the child of an alcoholic father and a child of a different kind of mother. Let's just put it that way. You know how some people love you the best way they can? Well, read into that. Some people just love you the best way they know how, and they do it as hard as they can, but it's different than you love. And I don't know how else to put it because I don't want to say anything that would hurt her feelings. And, it's just so complicated. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. I'm the one that made it out. The other 2 are wonderful people. They just have a lot of issues. there's mental illness involved. I don't know how else to say it, because I don't want to say anything that's going to be harmful to them. But I just want to say a deep apology if I said anything in that reply to the person that said something about mom having to not be here. You know, it would be easier if I went there for her than it would be, you know, when you have Alzheimer's. The bottom line is, when you have Alzheimer's, the best thing to do is keep their environment very unchanged. Keep everything the same. Don't do a lot of change. All that. Now, with that being said, Mom was really excited about coming here. She absolutely loves being here. It's good for her to get out. When she's at home, now, where she's at now is in North Carolina. That's where she's lived her entire life, the same county. It's property that she's always owned. It's familiar to her. Her church is there, all her church friends. So it is the better place for her to be. But I'm trying not to get emotional. You know, this disease is so, it's just awful. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It takes everything from the person. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to get emotional. But I just want to say that if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. You know, I was a social worker, and I've worked with the elderly my entire career, except when I worked for a hospice at a time. Let me have a sip. Hold on. And I worked with the elderly, and I actually used to be trained in Alzheimer's. I had a lot of training in Alzheimer's. I used to do in-services. I trained workers. I did in-services with, you know, the employees. I did a lot of family education and that type of thing. So I do realize, you know, how to interact with the Alzheimer's patient. And I do know that her coming here is not the best thing for her, but sometimes it's just, some things you just have to do because you have to do because of the circumstances, you know, in which you are in. And there's a long, long history behind a lot of the things I'm talking about that, of course, I'm not going to share, because every family has their issues. And there's just, I don't really know how, I feel like I'm not even saying what I wanted to say when I come on here. I just don't want anybody to think that I'm angry at anybody or that I'm upset with anybody. I just, you know, if I felt comfortable just spilling the whole story of everything, I would. But, you know, it's just best sometimes not to air dirty laundry if you don't have to. But she's here today. She's supposed to stay till Saturday or Sunday. It's kind of up in the air right now. I feel like she probably won't want to leave when she's here for a couple of days, because she never wanted to leave me before, because I pet her just a little bit too much sometimes. My sister, the youngest, she encourages her to do more for herself, and I probably should, because that's what the doctor, I remember that's one of the things she told me when Mom got her diagnosis, is to encourage her to stay as independent as possible. But my nature as a caregiver is very hands-on and don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, and just hover and that type thing. But I just wanted to come on and let y'all know that I appreciate, so y'all have been so kind to me and so nice when it comes to my mom. You know, this is such a hard situation, and I can remember when I would go visit families of caregivers, you know, in the home, because I did a lot of home visits, and I would say, now you need to get out and do something for yourself. You need to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to be a good caregiver. With my naive 25-year-old mind, 26, I don't remember how old I was, might have been even 27, didn't even think about the fact that some of these caregivers didn't have an out. You know, they had no one to come and sit with their loved one so they can get out. And, you know, back then we didn't have grocery delivery. We didn't have all the things we have, but thank God I had it when I lived in Colorado, because I don't know what I would have done. because sometimes I could get Mama to go to the grocery store with me, and sometimes I couldn't. She just didn't want to. But anyway, I hope this makes sense. And if it don't, y'all please comment down below, and I'll get back on here and try to verbalize more of what I'm trying to say. I'm being very quiet because I don't want Mom to hear, but I know she's sound asleep. So anyway, thank you guys for listening, and I don't really have any more words. I don't know what to say, but I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.